Good morning, Global 9 students. It's Mr. M here with my new friend, Nova. She's the newest member of our family. But this morning I wanted to go over your 9.4 review packet with you before you took your test today. Your test will be on Castle Learning. It'll be comprised of 30 multiple choice questions, but kind of like what you've seen all year, they're stimulus based multiple choice questions. Stimulus based multiple choice questions require you to work with primary or secondary sources, usually in the form of charts, maps, graphs, text, images, things along those lines that will require you to do some thinking, some critical thinking. With a stimulus based multiple choice question, you're not able to find the answer just by simply looking at the image or text. You're going to have to do a little reading, some critical thinking and analysis of each multiple choice question. So take your time, use the process of elimination, and then always, always, always go with your gut. Now, getting to your study guide, a few things I want to point out. A lot of the things we've covered in this unit, I know there are several topics, but they have some commonalities between all of them. Whether it's the Byzantine Empire or the Golden Age of Islam in the Middle East, our African civilizations, the Mongols, or the Tang and Song dynasties. All of these empires are empires that flourish and will rise to power due to trade networks and trading and things like that. That's one big thing that connects all of these empires together, is that trade and cultural diffusion will help these empires flourish for a long time and have golden ages. Now, getting to our study guide, the Middle Ages. So the Middle Ages refer to a period from about 400 AD to about 1400 AD, right up until the Renaissance. And then you want to know is that the Middle Ages only refer to Western Europe. We're only talking about the western half of the Roman Empire. As you know, the eastern half of the empire will flourish and will be known as the Byzantine Empire. With the Middle Ages, two big words you want to know: feudalism and manneralism. These were your vocab words a while ago, but as a refresher, feudalism just refers to the political system. That would be the government that was in place during the time in Western Europe. It's where kings gave away land to knights and nobles in return for their loyalty and military service. This is a decentralized government where there was not one single person or ruler who had all the power. It was a wide range of feudal manors that made up Western Europe. So there was not one king or queen or absolute monarch that held all the power in Western Europe. Our next term you need to know is manneralism. Manneralism, you should be pretty familiar with this. We created our manners on a while back in your notes, but the manors were self-sufficient. Your manors housed your farmers, your artisans, your peasants who could not leave the manor. All right, these were self-sufficient. They provided their own needs, which meant that there wasn't a whole lot of trade going on during the Middle Ages. And during this time period, the one stabilizing force or unifying force that would be prominent in Western Europe would be the Catholic Church, especially the Pope. The Catholic Church and the Pope were very wealthy and influential in Western Europe. On the other hand, the Byzantine Empire will flourish roughly until 1453, right around the Renaissance in that time period. So the Roman Empire will fall. All right, the West will continue into the Dark Ages, but the eastern half of the Roman Empire will flourish and be known as the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire's capital will be known as Constantinople. It's a great location for trade. It is the center of trade, and it kind of is a bridge between Europe, China, and Africa, and they're all kind of linked by land and sea routes and things like that. The big thing with Constantinople, it'll be a hub for cultural diffusion. It had major influence on neighboring areas, primarily Russia, who is located to the east. So that's very important as well. just know that with the Byzantine Empire, Justinian's code is very important. Emperor Justinian and his wife Theodora took the laws of the Roman Empire, preserved them, and then passed those on and kind of edited those to fit their empire. Keep scrolling down in our review packet, we get to the Golden Age of Islam. Islam was a topic we studied way back in the beginning of the year when we looked at world religions. Islam is a very peaceful religion. It is also a monotheistic religion, meaning that it is followers believe in one God. Their God is known as Allah. Followers of Islam are called Muslims. No, Muslim is not a religion. Muslim would be like what we call Christians. Christians are followers of Christianity, just as Muslims are followers of Islam. Their holy book is the Quran. You can see it sometimes spelled with a K or with a Q. All three monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all come out of the Middle East. They are Abrahamic religions and are monotheistic religions. Our golden ages, okay? Golden age is a period that is marked by achievements in math, science, medicine, philosophy, art, and our peaceful time periods. These ages in an empire's history will flourish for many, many years. Throughout the year, we've looked at the Pax Romana, the Pax Mongolica, the Golden Age of Islam. We've had several golden ages in China with our dynasties. So a lot of our empires have these similarities where they have great achievements, and looking at the Golden Age of Islam, they have a plethora of achievements, whether that be with medicine and the whole idea of quarantine and hospitals. What an achievement that is, especially in the times we're facing today. They'll add to what the Chinese have already done in terms of paper making, studying anatomy. They will give us algebra and trigonometry and engineering and astronomy. So all my math students who love their math classes and love algebra and geometry and things like that, you can thank the Golden Age of Islam for bringing these fields of study to our learning. Next, we looked at West African civilizations. This was a pretty fun unit. A lot of students had fun looking at camels and the ships of the sea. Our three empires that will come out of West Africa would be the empires of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. The one you need to know would be Mali. And how you can connect Mali is that Mansa Musa, he was the most famous ruler of Mali. He controlled the gold and salt trade and controlled the city of Timbuktu and spread Islam throughout Africa and the Middle East. Timbuktu and West Africa became a center for Islamic learning. And as always, these empires flourished as well because they controlled trade. They controlled the Trans-Sahara trade routes, or the trade routes that went across northern Africa, and controlled gold and salt trade. Keep looking at your review packet. We get to the Mongols. All right, the Mongols were a pastoral, nomadic group of people that originated from the grassy plains of Central Asia, the steppe, as it is known as. They raised animals and followed their animals in search of grazing lands. Their emperor, would be Genghis Khan. He used his military leadership to conquer what is mostly Asia, and he would establish the largest land empire in all of history. At its height, the Mongol Empire controlled much of China, Central Asia, Russia, and much of the Middle East, connecting both ends of the Silk Road. Marco Polo. Marco Polo was an Italian merchant who visited the Mongols. He lived with the Mongols and got to learn firsthand from the Mongols for about 20 years. He wrote down a lot about what he saw and things like that. Those transcripts that he provided are vital primary sources that historians use to learn about the Mongols. Let's see here. The Mongols, just like our other empires, controlled trade between Europe and Asia and protected the Silk Road using the postal system, which really helped their empire flourish. Remember, there was a quote we looked at during our unit where a man could walk from one end of the Silk Road to another with a gold platter on his head and not be harmed. So the Mongols really put an emphasis on protecting the Silk Road. And lastly, we get to our golden age of China with the Tang or Song dynasties. China was known for its tremendous achievements in art, science, math, and literature. It's a peaceful period where they will have key achievements such as the compass, woodblock printing, gunpowder. The gunpowder was originally used for fireworks, but as we know, it'll be used for firearms. And also, the Chinese will perfect porcelain, which is kind of a very pretty looking clay. Often it's blue and white. Just like other empires, as I said, the Chinese will protect the Silk Road, will spread Buddhism to China. They will use a civil service exam, which is still used in New York State today. They will use land and sea routes to become wealthy and a prosperous empire. And I think that is it for our study guide. You can use your study guide for your test. You'll have today, tomorrow, and the weekend to complete your test. So I hope you use your notes. I hope you use everything available to you. And if you have any questions, myself, Mrs. Pattison, or Mrs. Hazelton is always there for you. I can't wait to see everyone, hopefully in a few weeks. Stay safe, be smart, and I can't wait to see you guys.